Hi, I'm Heidi Reynolds. I'm a reading specialist, and my summer research project is called Professional Learning Communities, Where Do the Specialists Fit? In 2013, I attended the PLC Institute in Minneapolis. This last year, my school really dove into forming PLC teams, and I found myself on two teams. I was on a grade level team for weekly collaboration, but this was not always meaningful to me as a reading specialist. I found myself on a monthly job-alike PLC team with other reading specialists, which was really helpful, but we didn't meet enough to really sustain a flow. I found that other non-classroom teachers were having the same problem, or they weren't part of a PLC team at all. So the purpose of my research was to find out how non-classroom teachers could best fit into PLC teams. For my research, I read lots of really great books and used the All Things PLC website, and then I was able to attend the PLC Institute for the third time in Minneapolis. And here at this institute, my focus really was to find the answer to the question, where do the specialists fit in? So through my research, I discovered ways to ensure specialist teachers have enough time to collaborate, and from other experts like Louise Cruz, I found ways to focus these groups on student learning so that the collaboration is meaningful. So my conclusion is that it's important for all teachers to be engaged in powerful collaborative teams that are meaningful to them, which are focused on student learning. We know this is what's best for teachers, and it's what's best for kids.
My name is Mark Madison. I teach Algebra 2 at Sioux Falls Roosevelt High School, and my summer research project was to take the Algebra 2 book that we currently have, the new curriculum, and record examples with voiceover of every lesson that we teach throughout the school year. And then that is going to allow access on kids' Chromebooks that are in a program called R2 here at Roosevelt High School. Basically what I did is I recorded the sections from the book, worked out a few examples along with verbal explanations of each problem. I then created a wiki in order to store or hold all these video clips that I had. Each clip is between 5 minutes and I think the longest one is maybe 20 minutes in length. So they can watch bits and pieces of it or all of it. They can hit pause if they need to hit pause. Just allows them access to explanations as they're working through the lessons that they have. It says, welcome to Algebra 2 R2. And as of right now, I just have Algebra 2 here as the first link. And then, again, I separated it into chapters. So let's say we were having difficulty on Chapter 7, for example. I can go here and then click on maybe Lesson 7.3. Is where I'm having the difficulty. What you're going to see then is the lesson being presented along with a voice explaining how the problems work and how to solve each problem. If it gets used often enough, it's going to help these students that are in R2. It's going to help them hopefully get through the book, the chapters a little bit quicker, understand the material a little bit better possibly before having to ask the teacher that's in there a bunch of questions. Which hopefully in the long run will raise their semester exam scores and will also raise their time to completion of the course. Along with that, my long-term goal is hopefully that more students will be graduating with their cohort group.
Hi, I'm Shannon Hoeler, and I teach at John Harris. I teach kindergarten, and I applied for the summer research grant, and it's called Breaking for Reading. And the program is basically for students in primary, kindergarten, and first grade that have just met the grade level expectations, and they've got the momentum going, and we want to keep them going with reading. So we have a small guided reading group. The group is 8 or 9 friends. We've got 2 groups, one at 9 to 10 and one at 10 to 11. And we meet with them with guided reading. We do a writing project. They take home a word work activity. And hopefully with that support at home, we'll see that students maintain or show growth throughout the summer.
Hi, I'm Terry Hogarth, and I too teach at John Harris. I'm a 5th grade teacher. And like Shannon, my summer reading project is working with students again. It's called Breaking Through Again with Reading, but mine is more so called a Guided Reading Summer Instruction for intermediate grades during the summer. It is a program designed for 8 weeks where students would come in and get guided reading books. We also work with word work, writing along with that, and the students and I are also working on a novel, kind of going through the process of the character development and comprehension strategies. Along with guided reading, we're working on with different genres as well. And these books that students are getting are highly engaged for the students. They're excited about the reading, and they're taking the ownership this summer to read. We also contracted with parents to say that we would like them to help support them at home and their help. And it's been a wonderful program so far for our students.
My name is Hannah Miller, and I taught 4th grade at Hawthorne Elementary. The title of my summer research project is Making Data Meaningful for Both Students and Teachers. So to start off with, I followed the Solution Tree Workshop manual. I attended a conference in Omaha, and I followed the manual Building Common Assessments. And so in this manual, it's a step-by-step process of how to start to make the data meaningful for students. Where do we begin and how do we finish? And so to start off with, I worked with my students to identify target standards. Once we identified those target standards, what was important for them to learn, I had each student make their own individual I Can folder. And inside this folder, this was definitely a work in progress as this was new to me and to them. But inside the folder, they would keep a card for math, for reading, for science, for any subject that we were studying, as well as social skills. And on these cards, they would write their I can statement. So you can see here our I can was I can multiply a whole number and a fraction. And so I would work with the students on writing these standards, and so that it was in student-friendly language as well. We also created a rubric because we are standards-based report carding. We worked through this model, identifying those standards, writing the assessment, and writing the rubrics that go along with the assessment that can be used for both the formatives and the summative assessment. And that is my data. That's my research project.
My name is Jessica Nowak. I teach at Hawthorne Elementary. I teach ELL for kindergarten through 5th grade there. My research project this summer is centered around seeing the difference between kindergartners that went to Immersion Center or went to a center-based site for kindergarten, and I measured the success in later years based on where they went for kindergarten. The essential question was, how can we best serve elementary ELL students in the Sioux Falls School District? The hypothesis stated students who began with an emergent level of English will be more successful when they received modified instruction based on their language needs all day in kindergarten. The rationale for this research is that many ELL students are entering kindergarten with few readiness skills and little knowledge of English. The methods used were to analyze ELL's yearly access test scores and compare those that attended kindergarten at the Immersion Center to those that attended a center-based site. The outcomes of the data were that the Immersion Center kindergartners' test scores improved faster at an average rate of 0.1416 per year. And here is a graph to visualize the growth over the years on the access test. The Immersion Center students are in red, and you can see that they are improving at a faster rate. I also did outside research, which I found that early reading interventions for ELL students showed to improve reading scores even in later elementary years. ELL students that start kindergarten with a limited vocabulary will unlikely close the gap between English-speaking peers. And kindergarten student engagement affects future educational successes. The outside research indicates the importance of kindergarten in determining students' future success. We want to give all students the right to a fair education from the start. Thank you.
My name is Kevin Knapp, and I teach at Axtell Park Middle School. And the project that I worked on this summer was called Calming the Mind or Quiet Time, and I stumbled upon some stress reduction strategies that have been implemented in schools throughout the world and throughout the United States. The ones that I looked closely at involved different types of breathing, which have beneficial effects for the students' health and their ability to achieve academic success. The main program that I looked into was a quiet time program, which is a form of breathing that students or schools implemented, and there were some drastic changes that the administration and the staff saw in these high stress, high anxiety, low socioeconomic schools throughout the United States, specifically big inner city schools that are very diverse. And I researched and read articles, watched videos, some interviews with these principals and superintendents to see how the culture of the schools changed and the benefits that this had for the students.
Hi, my name is Jessie Moeller, and my presentation is entitled Missing the Mark, Best Practice for Intentionally and Purposefully Embedding Writing into the Writing Workshop Practice. This project was done as we noticed, analyzing student data, that we were having a significant decrease in scores in our 5th grade in areas of writing and language, as well as our 4th grade scores. Research shows us that teaching of grammar mechanics is most effective when taught within the context of writers' workshops. But what does that really look like at each grade level? When surveying teachers, I discovered that while teachers typically say that writing is one of their favorite subjects to work on with their students, they often cringed when asked about their thoughts on the teaching of grammar and mechanics. Why is that? Well, most often their responses included, "I'm just not sure what is exactly expected of the students at my grade level. I don't feel very confident in my own understanding of grammar and mechanics, and I'm not sure how to effectively embed these practices into my writer's workshop without just using the frowned upon worksheets." The Common Core lays out the expectations for each grade level, but how do we take all of that information and break it down into something manageable and usable for teachers? Through my research, I have discovered effective practices for embedding grammar and mechanics into daily writing and have developed convention checklists based upon the Common Core, which will help our teachers focus on the specific content to cover at each grade level. The information builds upon the previous year's work, so it's absolutely critical that each grade level is doing their due diligence to provide their students with the appropriate knowledge and experiences necessary for mastery of the content. By helping to provide our teachers with easy access through the use of these checklists at each grade level for expectations, and providing them with the resources to help them better embed writing into their daily scores, we can help our students become better lifelong writers.
Hi, my name is Erin Radway, and I'm the librarian at Lowell MST Elementary School. My summer research is called Combating Summer Reading Loss with School Library Programming. Prior research by other scholars shows that students who do not continuously read throughout the summer lose precious reading skills at the start of the following school year, and they fall further and further behind. This trend is especially visible in students living in poverty. For that reason, I developed a summer reading program at our school library to encourage reading throughout the summer. Summer Library Club happens every Thursday from 9:30 to 11. At Library Club, students may choose from a variety of literacy stations to actively engage in reading. We have the iPads and Chromebooks for listening to reading, and beanbags for a comfy place to read to self or with a partner. We also have half a dozen volunteers each week so that students can either read to an adult or listen to an adult fluently read. Most importantly, each week students check out 3 library books so they can continuously read throughout the summer. I hypothesize that students who participate in Summer Library Club will maintain or increase their reading level from the spring of the previous school year. I also hypothesize that students who participate more frequently will more likely maintain that reading score. I will not be able to fully tabulate the results until we do the DRA, Developmental Reading Assessment, at the beginning of the school year. When those scores are in, I will do a paired t-test of the changes in DRA scores. I am hoping that this test will show that the library program made a statistically significant difference in helping students maintain or increase their reading abilities from the previous school year. If the outcomes are favorable, we will consider offering this program in future years. I will be able to share the findings of this research at a Lowell MST staff meeting, and also will be able to discuss the implications of the program at an elementary librarian's in-service or collaboration.